And folks, you probably have noticed our staff working on the field, tilling it, using the horse and plow method, just like they did back in 1885. Do visit the fire station and learn more about the advent of farming and also maybe learn some wonderful techniques for farming. So say goodbye to Tom, our station master, as we pull away. Thanks to getting everybody on board safely and getting us out on time. Our village is divided into 7 different districts, and the very first one is the Henry Ford Model T. Over to your left, we have the Henry Ford Model T district. The white farmhouse you see there is the birthplace of Henry Ford. He was born on July 30th, 161 years ago in a day. He was the oldest of 6 children and born on the 2nd floor of that home from Dearborn Township. After visiting there, learning about his early life, take a short walk over to the Ford Motor Company, learn how he came up with the vision of a motor car, the 1908 Model T, changing the world forever, transportation forever. Do take one of our historic cars today. Our T drivers will be giving you a tour as you move around the village with that car. Main Street's our next district, where you could visit the home of the Wright brothers and the Wright Brothers Cycle Shop, which we call the birthplace of aviation, from Dayton, Ohio. Over at Mrs. Millen Cohen's home, they're making hats as she did back in the 1890s, and they are for purchase. Do visit the Heinz House from Sharpsburg, Pennsylvania, built in 1854, where Henry came up with that first bottle of horseradish that led him to the other 56 varieties. Take a spin on the Herschel Spillman Carousel, built in 1913, and you have a menagerie of animals to choose. And just opening right now is what we call the center of our universe, the frozen custard stand. As temperatures go up, you'll definitely want to enjoy one of those frosty treats sometime today. The statue of Thomas Edison takes us into our Edison at Works district. In front of us, we have our Menlo Park. The brick building on your left is the machine shop. The 2-story gray structure upstairs is what we refer to as the invention factory, where Edison worked on the incandescent light bulb, the phonograph, improving on the telephone and the telegraph. He received over 420 patents while working at Menlo Park. The one patent he did not apply for, which he regretted, was for that research laboratory. It was the first of its kind. Scientists from all over the world would come and use his as a model. Single men that worked for him would rent a room over at Sarah Jordan's boarding house. It's that yellow mustard home you see on your left. Made history in December of 1879, being one of the very first homes in the entire world that was fitted with electricity. When you go inside, you're going to see wires as they line the walls and the ceilings. And when he wintered in Florida, from 1880 until 1931, where he perfected that record phonograph. Now we're coming into our porches and parlors district. And what a beautiful way is crossing through the acid-covered bridge built in 1832 from the southwest corner of Pennsylvania. Visit the home of Robert Frost, the poet, Noah Webster, the person who came up with the American Dictionary of the English Language back in 1828. Over in the far back, we have our Cotswold Cottage from Chesworth, England, built in 1619. Visit the beautiful gardens that surround the complex. And do visit the Daggett home today. Learn how the colonists lived back in 1750s. As we're coming into the Susquehanna station, remain seated. The engineer will set a brake, giving us the sound of a single whistle, letting us know it's safe to come off the train. Should you be deboarding, you're going to exit to your left side at the station. As we pull in, let's wave hello to our station master, Josh. Once again, wait for that whistle. It is now safe to come off the train. Maryland. It was built in 1835. Tobacco was the cash crop along with corn and wheat. The Carroll family owned this plantation with as well as 65 people in the country. Here's our Daggett home. Our staff show you what life was like during the time of the colonists, built in 1754 for Andover, Connecticut. They used raised garden beds as a farming technique. Go inside, see what they're growing in the garden. I hope you get a chance to see yourself. Cables for the Roundhouse suspension bridge that connects the United States with Canada. They have completed it, now they're just working things out. Going to be ready to drive over in 2025. We are now coming into our wildlife preserve. Sit back and enjoy some of the sounds that you hear from a historic steam locomotive. Here at Greenfield Village today. I was wondering when he was going to make that blowdown for us. That's just the engineer releasing steam from the boiler in hopes of getting rid of some calcium and other debris that builds up in the boiler. Plants and animals are not harmed by that. There might be another one coming. Up the hills of chapel that Henry Ford built in honor of his mother-in-law, Martha Bryan, and his mother, Mary Ford. Since 1930, there have been so many weddings celebrated there. In fact, we have some. Next to it is our Scott Settlement School from Dearborn Township, built in 1861, where young Henry Ford attended in his early years. Today, we have the Village Trio performing songs from 1930s to 1920s as well. As we pull away, we're going to wave goodbye to Deb, our station master. Thanks, Deb, for getting everybody on board safely.
Bye, that's fine.
We are now in Railroad Junction District. The Smith Creek depot you see on your left was built in 1854 from a small town located about 10 miles west of Michigan. Grand Trunk Railway. Henry had it brought here in 1928 when he learned that there was the Edison connection. We have a presenter there who will tell you about the duties of a station master and also about that young Thomas Edison connection. Across the street is the Edison Illuminating Power Plant, where young Henry Ford was a steam engineer. He is here where he came up with plans and completed the quadricycle back in 1896, leading the way into the Model T design. Next to it is the Detroit Central Marketplace. Today we have some actors there who will show you what was moments before the market opened. We use this marketplace for a lot of our special events. Coming in August, we will have harvest time where we'll be bringing their products from that they've grown on the farm, just like a real marketplace. And the Detroit Toledo Milwaukee Roundhouse is on your left, built in the year 2000, made to look like one from Marshall, Michigan in 1884. In front of it sits the Pierre Marquette turntable, manually operated, and that's how we get our locomotives in and out of the Roundhouse. Roundhouses like this have disappeared. There are fewer than 10 left in the country that function as a roundhouse. With the advent of the diesel-electric, they replaced the steam locomotives around the country. Roundhouses were needed for the steam locomotives, but when they were taken off to service, these things just began to just fall to the wayside. We have one because we have 3 steam locomotives which require regular maintenance and service, and we have a highly qualified staff to take care of them as well. You must go inside to see the work that they do on, and also presenters there will tell you about the history of the railroad along with the steam locomotives, other ones that we have in the roundhouse. Take a walk, look underneath the belly of a steam locomotive while you're here. Liberty Craft Works is our next district where you can enjoy seeing glass blowing, pottery making, weaving, and a printing shop. Our artisans are working just like they did using similar tools and skills that they used back then. We also have the Davidson Gerson Gallery of Glass, where you can see glass pieces that were popular back in the 17th century all the way to modern day. We're approaching our working farms district where you can enjoy the sights, sounds, and smells of a genuine farm. Our staff are dressed in clothing as 1885, carrying out the same tools and implements from back then. The home you see is the Bobby Firestone, built in 1828 from Columbiana, Ohio. He was the person who supplied Henry Ford with tires for the Model T cars. As you can see, we have our staff working in the field right now. The animals that we have here and the crops growing would have been true to what the Firestone family would have had on their farm back in the day. The crops are of heirloom variety. Sheep, chickens, horses, and cows are the animals that are taken care of here on the farm. If you have small children especially, do come over here if you are planning on getting off at this next stop and visit. Learn more about animal husbandry and also about the crops that they've got planted here. As we come into the station, remain seated. The engineer is going to set a brake, giving us the sound of a single whistle, letting us know it's safe to come off the train. Should you be deboarding, you're going to exit to your right side. As you can see, we have our staff working with horses pulling a plow, just like back in the 1880s. You'll learn so much about farming, and if you have gardens, you'll learn some special tips as well. Wait for the whistle before you stand. Know that the ticket you purchased today is good throughout the day on the train. As you take a walk off the train, do come back on showing your ticket once again. Wait for the whistle, stay seated. Born on July 30th, 1863, 161 years ago in one day. He was born on